Good morning, friends. This is Lorraine, and thank you for stopping by. I'm starting today's video by showing you my March perfume tray. This is a tray that I keep on my dressing table, and every month I go into my perfume cabinet and I select the perfumes that I'm going to use interchangeably throughout the coming month. Now, the perfumes in my perfume cabinet at this time are my fall and winter perfumes. So next month in April, I'll be digging out my spring and summer perfumes. But for now, this is my March tray, and you'll be hearing about probably just about every one of these fragrances during the month of March. I'm starting my day as usual with a glass of warm water, lemon juice, and apple cider vinegar. So I hope you'll join me. We're going to have a little get ready with me, and we're going to talk about celebrating aging. Cheers. I want to share with you my SOTD, my scent of the day. This is by M. Micallef. This is a perfumer, and this particular fragrance is called Mon Parfum Cristal. This is a travel size. It's about 12 mils. Now, I'm not sure if they have this exact packaging on the website right now. I think they have 10 mils. It's fairly expensive, but what I find about this, it's very intense. 2 sprays, and I'm good for the day, believe me. It's a fabulous fragrance. It has Bulgarian rose. It has musk, vanilla, and it's just a fabulous, very, very intense fragrance. Mon Parfum Cristal. Very interesting perfume house. We're going to get started. I'm going to, now what is this about gray eyebrows, you ask? Well, what I've discovered, and part of celebrating aging is to, I think, is just to accept where we are at with our physical beings. And what I realize is that I do not have one single brown hair anywhere on my body, really, although I used to when I was young. So my eyebrows there's certainly many white ones in there. They're just kind of now I've been using taupe, and some of the shades of taupe are quite appropriate and quite nice. But what I've decided is I'm going to try a gray eyebrow pencil. And I do have one. I got one from Amazon. It's by Kiss Beauty. So what I'm going to do, just for fun, is I'm going to do one eyebrow in taupe and one eyebrow in gray. And I really want to know what you think, because I can't make up my mind, honestly. So that's just kind of a fun thing we're going to do. You know, I really think that being 75, I'm grateful to be 75, and I'm very happy and kind of proud to be 75, you know? I don't know what I've done to deserve it, in a sense. It reminds me of Jack Benny, or was it Jack Benny or Bob Hope, who said, if I'd known I was going to live so long, I would have taken better care of myself. I love that. And I kind of feel that way too. So I think that being 75 or whatever age you are is really worth celebrating. And when I turned 70, because my parents or my grandparents never reached the age of 70. So I said, well, I'm going to celebrate being 70. Wow. And I had a big party. So my family came, my music friends came, some of my friends from nursing school were there, and even a couple of high school friends were there from way back. So it was a fabulous time. We had live music. Anybody who wanted to sing could just get up at the mic and sing. Now, yes, it costs a bit of money. Of course it does. Anything like that. We had it at a restaurant, so of course there was food involved, and yes, it does cost money. But, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You can go with a smaller group out to a restaurant. You can even just, just have a tea party, have people over for tea on a Sunday afternoon, but somehow celebrate the birthdays. And another thing that I thought was very sweet was a couple who live in my building met and married when they were in their 80s. And so then they celebrated their anniversary every single month, which I think is just so adorable. They would go out for breakfast to celebrate their anniversary every month. And they were married for about 4 years and until he died. But I thought that was just such a good idea, you know? I mean, celebrate the moment. Be just grateful for every single day. And I think it's a really good example to young people. And it might sort of cause them to respect older people when they see that we are enthusiastic about being older. We have a little bit of wisdom to share, and we're proud of that. And I think it's a really good example for young people. Another way to celebrate, of course, is to take advantage of the benefits that there are, the financial benefits, seniors discounts and this type of thing. And yes, you know, some of the drugstores have seniors days, and I think maybe some of the clothing stores. But wherever you go and wherever you are buying something and you're putting your money, ask for a discount. Can't hurt to ask, really. So that's one way to say, hey, you know, I'm 75 or I'm 72 or I'm 68. And do you have a senior's discount? And you might be surprised, because I think quite a few businesses, they want your business and they will give you a discount. Another thing too, another way to celebrate your age is, and again, you know, to me, life is all about how you spend your money and how you spend your time. Everything kind of boils down to that. And I realize that these suggestions, some of them do take money. But if there is something that you've always wanted and you can afford it, something like a designer bag or something that you've just always wanted. Like I always wanted, well, in fact, I didn't always want a red leather jacket. I wanted one. I guess I saw it when I was in my 60s. And I said, when I retire, I want to get one of those. So buy something special for yourself. You only have to buy one. That you don't have to, you know, start a big expensive collection or anything. But do that for yourself. I mean, if not now, when, for goodness sake? And if it's going to give you pleasure and enjoyment, you know, just go for it. And again, if you feel that you can't afford it, or you just don't want to spend your money on that, ask your family to get together and buy it for you. Because sometimes family, they don't know what to get us. You know, they figure we have everything. We don't need anything. We don't want anything. Well, sometimes we do want something. And so it's up to us to speak up and say, look, I want this. This is where it's at. This is how much it is. Or this is the website. This is the link. I want it. And you guys get together and buy it for me, and I'll be very happy. And that's a very valid way to get something that you've always wanted. Because now is the time, right? I've been using this CoverGirl brow gel. It comes in a few colors, but this one is clear. And what it does is it just holds the brows down, because my little wiry gray and white ones tend to want to stick up. So it's kind of wet. So I find that I do need to let it dry. And I'm quite enjoying this. I was always using the e.l.f. wax pencil, which also works well. But this is just a nice change. And I do like variety. So I do have to let this dry down a bit before I put my eyebrow pencil on. And I'm going to make one eyebrow taupe. I'm going to make this one gray and this one taupe. And I really do want your comments. I want you to tell me which do you think is better, because I just can't make up my mind. So meanwhile, that brow gel is drying, and I'm just going to put a little bit of gray eyeliner under my eyes. Just a bit of a shadow there. Yeah, I like a gray pencil. I don't use black under there anymore. I used to, but I just like a little bit of a shadow there. And I also don't go into the corner of my eyes, because I find that area is a bit dark. I've given up trying to conceal it with concealer, because all that does is accentuate the little lines, and the little lines are there, and that's that. Okay, now the fun begins. This is by Kiss Beauty. It's a gray pencil, and it has a little spoolie on the end. And I like this. It has a bit of a slanted edge on it. So I'm just going to put that on. I just think it's kind of more appropriate to have gray eyebrows when I have white hair. And this is a very, it's quite pigmented, this pencil. It's a nice one for sure. They had other colors as well. I got this on Amazon. I'll link it below for you. Now I'm going to use this little spoolie. I just want it to be natural. So there you go. That's the gray one. And now I'm going to use my NYX Micro Brow. And this is in taupe. Not all taupes are equal. And sometimes I have blonde ones too. And I don't find the blonde ones are that good. But some of the taupes are very nice. And this is really one of my favorites. This is a nice taupe. Because some taupes are too brown. They're almost reddish. And that doesn't suit me at all. And again, this is a very nice pencil. It's quite pigmented. It's just soft enough that it grips the hairs. And especially with that gel on it, it really works well. So there's the taupe. So we're just going to leave that for a while and carry on. And today I did not put on a primer, because I thought, well, just for a change, I won't. And this foundation is Revlon Color Stay, and for normal to dry skin. And I know from experience that you need half a pump. This spreads so easily. So another way to celebrate aging or getting older is to take the opportunity to teach your grandchildren. I think that they kind of expect it. I think that they think that we have some wisdom, and I do believe that we do have some wisdom. We don't have all the answers, that's for sure. And in fact, one thing I find about getting older is that the gray areas of situations are, wow. I mean, there's just a lot of gray areas. There's very little situations or problems that can be solved with a black or white solution. That's certainly what I find. But on the other hand, there's many experiences we've had. There's very few situations we haven't at least heard about that we can share the outcome with our grandchildren. I love nothing more than to teach my grandchildren, and especially as they get a bit older. My grandson is almost 16, and I just find that a wonderful age. And I do find that, that he's very open to what I have to say, which I really appreciate so much. It's very flattering. I really appreciate that. I like suggesting, for example, movies that he should watch, because I think that certain movies are real classics, like The Godfather 1 and 2. Those are just two of my absolute favorite movies. The Shawshank Redemption. Maybe I don't know if he saw. Oh, I can't remember the one I'm thinking about, but anyway, so this foundation, you see, it just spreads and spreads so easily. It blends into the skin. It looks as if I don't have a thing on my face. That color is really perfect for me. And now it's interesting not using any a primer. I can certainly feel a difference, but it seems to be working. I like it. Works well. And another thing that we can do to celebrate aging, and a lot of us have done this actually, is to, get an iPhone and get your iPad or use your computer. I think that really impresses the young people. Now, I had a job where I learned the computer and I learned to type because it was part of my job. I'm just going to take a break and talk a bit about this powder. This is absolutely my favorite powder. Coty Airspun. This has been around since the 1930s. It's absolutely beautiful powder. And it has a little puff with it. Now, I usually love using a powder puff, but today I'm going to use a powder brush. And because I know a lot of people like to use a powder brush, but I think that there is a way to use a powder brush. You put that much in the cap, not very much. And I think the key is to just put that powder brush in there and just swish it around so that it gets right into the bristles. You sort of grind it in there so it gets right into the bristles. So you can see the powder's all gone. It's into the bristles. Then just tap it off in case there's any loose powder there. And this way you're guaranteed that you're not going to get too much. This powder has the most beautiful scent, just delicate, kind of floral. Yes, I suppose it's a little old-fashioned, but I love it. Now, to me, that looks like perfect coverage. Not too much, not too little. And it gives a satin finish. Doesn't leave my skin looking matte or cakey or powdery. It just gives a perfect finish. Right. Not everybody had a job where they learned to use a computer. I mean, you don't have to apologize for not knowing how at all. I have a friend who had a fabulous career, but it wasn't a career where she needed to use a computer. And so when she retired, she took a course because she wanted to celebrate the fact that, you know what, I can keep up with what's going on. I can communicate with my grandchildren on Facebook or whatever it is, and I can use an iPhone. So she took a course and she learned how to do it. And any of us can learn a new skill like that. And another thing that to celebrate aging is to write down some of your experiences. Write an autobiography. If you've always wanted to write poetry, write poetry. Your grandchildren would just love to have these legacy items. Maybe not when they're young, but certainly as they get to their 40s and 50s, I find that people do become more interested in their family of origin. Now I'm using Lash Paradise, which is a very popular mascara, and people seem to love it. I had it one time before. I wasn't that impressed, but I thought that I would try it again. And of course, another thing that you can do is join a meetup group or join a seniors group. Now, if you don't have grandchildren, by the way, and a lot of people don't have grandchildren, or their grandchildren live out of town and you don't see them very often. But I think one thing that really keeps us thinking young and feeling young is to be around young people. So you can always go and volunteer at the school. And you can be around children that way. Or visit children in the children's hospital. So there is a way to have young people in your life. Another thing you can do is join a meetup group. There's all kinds of meetup groups, and it doesn't have to be a seniors meetup group. Just join any meetup group. People with hobbies like photography or art, painting of any kind, or crafts, or travel groups even get together, or even philosophy groups just for discussions. Groups that go to movies together, go out for dinner together. Not only can you meet new friends, but you can meet young friends. And be proud. I think I'm about the oldest person in my music group, and I'm proud of that. I feel like the matriarch, and I'm okay with that. I really quite like it. So these are just a few ways that you can celebrate your age and be proud, Tell how old you are. Don't ever try to hide it. We're not trying to look younger or be younger. We're just trying to be the best we can at the age that we are and just be grateful to be the age we are, because a lot of people don't have that privilege. And of course, watching young people grow up, and of course this would include grandchildren, but even children that you would meet at the school, or I know a few people who drive a school bus, and you get very attached to those kids. So if you do that, you can, you get to know these children, and you become part of their lives. And there's a real thrill in watching them grow up, because, man, they grow fast. So that is just a few ways to celebrate being the age that we are. Let's not pretend that we're young. We're not trying to be young. We're just trying to be the best version of an older person that we can be. This is really one of my favorite liquid blushes by YC that I got from Ipsy. And you can actually buy things from the Ipsy website. But I like this. It has I like this color too. It's surprisingly pigmented. And I like to use this little brush just to sort of place it first. And then I use a bigger brush to do the major blending part. Again, I like liquid blushes. I like how they look on the skin, but they do take a little more work than a powder blush, I find. So it just depends what you're in the mood for that particular day. And I'm using this Annabelle lip liner, which with this edge. I'll finish this off camera. I hope you've enjoyed these little ideas and little discussions about how to celebrate being the age we are and how to just enjoy every single day and have people in our lives that we can celebrate with and who appreciate us and we appreciate them. And so I'm going to say goodbye now, but with my uneven eyebrows, I really can't see that much difference. I can see a difference. Honestly, if I went out, I don't imagine anybody would notice anything, but I want to know what you think. So should I continue with the gray eyebrow or continue with the taupe? Anyway, let me know. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.